Huh. The Flood. So, this is our first introduction to the real menace of the universe. The Flood. What the Flood is, well, that's really complicated. Would take quite a lot of time to explain what the Flood is. The basic version is it is a galaxy-spanning infection that can pretty much infect any sentient life on Earth, or in the universe, actually. And it is almost unstoppable. It's what wiped out humanity and all the other races hundreds of thousands and billions and trillions of years ago in the Halo universe. Because let's just say all the races, including some others that we haven't met in the Halo universe, let's just say this isn't their first spin around the block. But the Halo is designed to keep the Flood in check. And the Halo array, which was built by the that was close. By the Forerunners, who are no longer around. So how does the Halo array work? Well, the Halo array works by frying the brains and nervous system of all sentient life throughout the universe, or at least the galaxy that it's in. So it defeats the Flood by exterminating all sentient life, basically. And those little pods that we're shooting, they're the infection forms. And they start turning everybody into combat forms. And that is where the Flood life cycle just gets started. There is a lot to the Flood. They are not just mere space zombies. Anyway, let's go. Now, unfortunately, our human ballistic weapon here, our assault rifle and our pistol, are not effective against the Flood at all. Now, in later games, if you destroy a combat form like this, if one of the spores gets next to it or gets near it, they will jump in it and bring it back to life. So yeah, the Flood. This was a big secret that nobody knew about when the original Halo came out. They weren't allowed to mention it in reviews. They could only hint that there is something else. It's not just humans versus Covenant. So, yeah, it's interesting to think that Halo kind of is also a horror game. In a way. Not necessarily well illustrated in this particular game, but if you read the books and you play the later games, yeah, it's nightmare fuel. What the Flood are capable of. Anyway, let's get out of here. So it looked like Johnson got infected there, didn't it? He got grabbed by one of the pods. So how did Johnson survive? Well, oof, they're everywhere. Well, dear viewer, there's more to Johnson than meets the eye. He is not just a mere soldier. He was part of the Orion Project. The Orion Project predates the Spartan Project. So he is actually an augmented, enhanced human. Not cybernetically, but it was more done through hormones and therapy, gene therapies and that sort of thing. It was a failure. It didn't work very well. Or should I say it failed expectations and was scrapped. But it did lay the foundation for the Spartan Project. Spartans are way more advanced than the Orions. However, I think, if memory serves, I think Johnson is the only surviving member of the Orion project. So he's faster, he's stronger, he heals quicker, all that sort of stuff. But as a weird little side effect of his abilities, or augmentations, I guess you could say, he is immune to flood infection, which means he's the only member of the human race, or just about any of the known species so far, that are immune. And by getting infected in this game, where we just saw him get infected, he actually gets some of the powers, or he gets augmented even further, shall we say. But he's still not on the level of a Spartan or anything like that. He is still very much human 1.5. Whereas it's safe to say Spartans are probably humans 5.0. Right, okay. The books do go quite heavily into this, and there's lots of stories that you can look up. But one of the big mysteries of this game is, how did Johnson get off the ring? Well, that was a secret for a long time. Until one of the books came out. I think it's actually the book of the game that explained that. I can't remember exactly which one it is. And things are going pretty south here. Yep, the flood don't mess around. And they're pretty quick, they're pretty tough. And they do like to get up again. And if you think you've seen all the secrets the flood have to offer, oh sweet summer child. The flood have a lot of secrets. As I say, as much as they are space zombies, kind of, there's also way more to them than that, which will be explored in future games. Especially Halo 2 actually really starts fleshing them out. Now, the Needler isn't necessarily a fantastic weapon to use against them, because, as you can see, these combat forms, they like to just charge towards us, which is fine. There she is, the shotgun. She's a peach in this game. One of the best video game shotguns ever. Yes, I will die on that hill. And you can hold a hell of a lot of ammo for it as well. Actually, I think they've cut down the amount of ammo you can hold for it. You used to be able to hold an obscene amount of ammo, like way more than any other weapon. I think it was like, I'm sure it was like 100 shells plus what you've got in your gun. Yeah. Yes, but the good old flood. We do like the flood. I was terrified of them as a kid. It almost put me off Halo completely, made me want to stop playing, because I was a little cowardly wuss. And I think it was Halo, that was like my turning point. Because I loved the game so much, I've kind of forced myself to play it. And it kind of got me through the fear of like spoopy games. Not that, you know, looking back at this is really silly, it's not scary at all in the slightest. But you know, you could say that to a lot of like games. Now, what we want. That was silly. Now these little guys, you can, as long as there's not loads of them, you can let them burn up on your shield. They're no worries. Yeah, right. So our terminal. Oh no, we're going to go down first, aren't we? We're going to go deeper, further down into this nightmare. Cool. Yep, absolutely one of the best shotguns in video games, if you ask me. Absolutely incredible. Yep. What, you didn't think they just ran at you, did you? Oh no. No, 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 no. The Flood can use weapons. The Flood have all the knowledge of the beast that they've taken over. And that knowledge goes into a collective mind, a hive mind. So, yeah, don't you worry about the Flood. They are not thick, stupid, unintelligent creatures. The bigger the Flood outbreak gets, the smarter the Flood get. And with all this biomass that they harvest, they start creating a big, fat brain Flood. And that's where things get difficult. Very difficult. Oh, we've got some Marines down here. Let's see if we can save them. If we can. Of course we can't. That would be silly. Absolutely need the shotgun to take these guys out. Well, that's not true. You don't need the shotgun. Oh, and if you're wondering if you can melee the Flood from the back to one hit kill them, no. No, you can't. You just make them angry. Okay. So where did the Flood come from? Wow. The Flood are eons and eons old. They actually are the remnants of a race. Long dead race. Now, my knowledge of this is a little bit ropey, but eons ago, before the Halo event, you had the Forerunners. You had all of the other races were still around, like humans and, you know, all the races of the Covenant. There was no Covenant as it is today, but all of the races. And there was another race as well that had a war with the Forerunners. And I believe to stop themselves from going extinct or something, they devolved themselves into a spore so that one day they could rise up, and they seeded themselves throughout the galaxy. Now, as the eons went by, the Flood spores, I believe, mutated into what they are now, which is not what they were originally intended for. I may have to fact check a little bit of that, but I believe that's the rough gist of it without going into tons and tons of lore. The Halo lore is massive, huge. We're talking, you know, 30 plus books, years, well, you know, almost 30 years of collected lore, short films, animations, all sorts. Halo is huge, massive. And that's why it kind of sucks to see how it has been mishandled. Kind of recent years. I mean, Halo Infinite in some regard was a step in the right direction. Definitely need more of it, more of that quality, because the game, when it launched, was absolutely terrible, apparently. I mean, I thought the campaign was fine. In fact, the campaign was quite good. Not the best, but it was pretty good. There are aspects about it I didn't like, story-wise. Oh, I tagged him. But, it, you know, pretty good. Way better than... Well, Jesus, way better than 5. And, yeah, it was probably on par with 4, I guess. If I have to be really critical. But then, you know, I enjoyed 4. Okay. This place looks locked down. Oh, I guess we're going to go down. We need to find ourselves a way out of here. without going in round and round in circles if possible. Ah, progress. Now, later on we will find Flood which have rocket launchers and shotguns. Now, when you run around a corner and you encounter a Flood with a rocket launcher, the Flood has no, you know, self-preservation. He doesn't care whether he's still alive. So he will quite happily just blast you with a rocket launcher and kill everything. As long as he takes you out. And they do that. And on Legendary, they seem to like to do that even more. But get used to this shotgun because we're going to be using it a lot. This shotgun is going to carry us pretty much through the rest of the game. And also, if you're wondering how the shotgun fares up against the Covenant, very well. All you get. Broke my glass. I need that glass. There we go. Alright. That's better. That's better. I mean, it's quite interesting when you're reading about the Spartan training. Oof, as well. Little things. Like the fact that the energy shield envelopes their boots. So when they're running, they're not running on the floor. So, you know, running over ice and things like that and slightly rough terrain doesn't actually affect Spartan because they're actually running on their shield. It's kind of weird. And that takes some getting used to, apparently. It has like a very mild anti-gravity effect. Okay, things are getting a little bit spicy out here now. Ooh. It's quite enough of that. Uh-oh. Shields failed. Now, what I like about the Flood as well is you can really blow them to pieces. You can destroy all kinds of bits and body parts and lumps and chunks of meat off them. And it is a good time. Now, if you shoot both their arms off, how do they attack you? They don't, actually. That's quite simply put. They don't attack you. If you disarm them, they do not attack you. Now, we need to get up there. This is where our next terminal is.
Construction of the sarcophagus around the unexplained vessel was completed today. No occupants ever exited. No attempts to communicate were made, other than the automated broadcast that repeated every 72.83 seconds until the signal terminated 1 week ago. In accordance with procedure, no attempts at physical or remote contact were made with any survivors of this vessel's inelegant landing. Atmosphere from inside the craft stopped venting 2 weeks before the signal ceased. No relationship between these two events can be established with certainty. Gases that did escape were sterilized. No further sign of alien visitors or rescuers has been identified on any sensor systems. I have now endured 60,000 years without word from outside the array. I have no way to know whether we actually saved the galaxy we destroyed. And because of protocol, I sat silently while my first chance to be judged for those acts died. To say that I regret being forced to this outcome is a tremendous understatement. But as I perform my inspection of the quarantine labs today, I am reminded of the gravity of my responsibilities. Just one of these spores, if released from this facility, would render the ultimate judgment against our self-appointed role as protectors of this galaxy. When the plan to maintain the Halo array was created, it was a point of some contention whether we should preserve any remnant of the flood infection. Many thought this unwise, as there was a notable chance that one day one of our containment facilities might be breached. Those who held this belief were almost successful at convincing the Ecumen Council to destroy the last blood samples. But oddly enough, it was the librarian who decided otherwise. And I believe she was correct. I know in a way I cannot logically explain that there exists a way to actually defeat the flood. To immunize? To cure? I still struggle with multiple layers of memory of fighting the flood. But I know this cure is possible, even though the full genius of the Forerunners was unable to achieve it. The Forerunners' ancient enemy held and used that knowledge once, but it was denied to us. And without samples for further study, that cure will never again be found. Of course, I have no reason to believe that here lies the entirety of the parasite. It may be waiting in the frozen void beyond this galaxy, or worse, inexorably drifting toward us. I don't know what survives out beyond my installation, but I know that in order for anything to survive, I have to protect this installation and its quarantine very carefully. Yes, the librarian was right to store it, examine it, continue to seek a cure. Still, next visitor, things will be different.
I wonder who the next visitor's going to be. Because I'm guessing that ship that crashed there long before we got here. So a Covenant ship, basically, crashed, all hands on deck. That's what I'm getting. And then they sealed it up after, you know, a while, giving them the opportunity to come out and say hi. Yeah, so when the Forerunners in the last cycle before the Halo event, they were locked in a massive war with another species. I wonder what species almost had technological parity with the Forerunners. Wonder who that could have been. So anyway, probably not important. Let's carry on. Oh, evening. So essentially they kept some of the flood parasite on these rings, or at least on installation 04, and that was left for our friend, our AI friend there, to study and try and find a cure. But apparently the unknown race that the Forerunner had fought previously had discovered a cure. Interesting. Wonder who this race was. Mystery, mystery, mystery. Anyway. Oh, hello.
Chief, is that you? I lost your signal when you disappeared inside the structure. What's going on down there?
Hey, boys.
Movement all over the place.
Sir, thank God you're here. We've been lost out here for hours. After we lost contact with the rest of the mission, we headed for the RV point, and then these things, they ambushed us. We got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Large tower a few hundred meters from your current position. Find a way above the fog and foliage canopy, and I can move in and pick you up.
Alright, that seems reasonable. This bit is cool. Right, come on guys, let's get out of here. Let's fight through the infested jungles. Now the trouble with the flood infection is once it starts, you gotta get on top of it quick. If it gets out of hand, then yeah. Come on guys, let's do it. Yes, exactly. Make sure it's dead. It's the spores that are the bigger threat, to be honest. Because unlike me, my men aren't shielded and protected. I love that line. Don't bother getting up, buddy. I'll keep you down. I love that line. So much personality with the Marines. And that personality only gets more and more fleshed out as the games go on. I think that's one negative, I think, with the legendary difficulty, that your Marines are so squishy. They like literally all wipe in seconds. I think on legendary they should have buffed them up a bit, honestly, because some of the interactions and some of the lines that the Marines come out with are really good. And it, you know, it's not lore accurate at all when it comes to, you know, the Marines. I mean, they're not as strong as Spartans, not even close, but they're not pathetic and squishy as depicted in this. Have we lost all of our men? Probably. That's what happens on anything above normal, when your men just drop like flies. It's a shame. Especially ODST. ODSTs are strong. Again, not as strong as Spartans. Ooh, hello. Looks like we have some help coming our way. That's strange. What could that be about? Little robots. They kind of look like the talking AI that we saw earlier. Well, at this point, we'll take all the help we can get. There we go. That will do. They're using laser weapons, which do seem to be quite nice. They are certainly doing the job.
Greetings. I am the monitor of Installation 04. I am 343 Guilty Spark. Someone has released the flood. My function is to prevent it from leaving this installation, but I require your assistance. Come, this way.
And he just zaps us off and leaves our men to die.
Where'd you go? Chief! Chief!
Apart from the fact that our men are, you know, already dead, but I digress. And that ends that mission. Next off to the library. The library is a pretty infamous level, let's just say that. It's just shoot everything, rinse and repeat, shoot everything, rinse and repeat. It on legendary. This one, oof. This one is spicy. Probably, I don't want to say it's the hardest level in the game on legendary, but it's up there. It's, yeah, flood with rocket launchers out the ass. Yeah, it's spicy. Anyway, I'm going to end this set here. There's another 2 videos. Yeah, when we come back, we're heading for some secret knowledge, some dangerous secret knowledge, and we're going to have a good time with that. So, thanks for watching, guys, and as always, till next time.